Welcome back to Comical Opinions. This is a review of Distemper #2 from Blood Moon Comics. In this issue, Marv and the survivors try to escape a house run by sadistic survivalists, I guess you want to call it that, who are intent on making sure that anybody they capture, they do whatever they want with them, which is unspoken but pretty terrible. Anyway, before we get started, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know how we're doing, and let's get into it. So Distemper #2 from Blood Moon Comics is written by and lettered by Tony Bushell, art by Nenad Svidikainen. I apologize if I say that incorrectly, but try my best. Okay, so first impressions. Uh, Gritty, very tight, very taut, very high tension type of storytelling in this issue. It starts off uh, with a kind of a synopsis of how the world sort of came to an end through the dog flu, and picks up in the action from the cliffhanger from the previous issue, I should say. And there's plenty of violence. It's very fast paced and very high tension. And if you're looking for that sort of end of the world feeling where the flu that killed most of the people isn't the problem, but the people being horrible to each other is really the problem, and the kind of tense, uh, lethal scenarios that people will get into as a result, this is a good comic to pick up. When we left off, Marv and the crew, they decided to help a mother who was kidnapped and managed to briefly escape from these survivalists that are living in a house in the woods. But she says that they have her two small boys, and they need help getting them back and getting freed. Despite their best judgment, Marv and the gang go to the house, and they arm up, and they do whatever they can, and everybody starts shooting at each other or stabbing each other if they have a machete or knife, and it's just a knockdown throwdown, with no survivors is the intention there. So this time, what we pick up, the gang has to shoot, stab, chop, slash, kill their way out of the house, and they eventually get that done. But as they look for survivors, they find exactly what those survivalists, or whatever you want to call them, were up to in the basement, and it ain't pretty. As a matter of fact, it's pretty nasty and pretty gory. Interesting fact about this series as a whole, Distemper, it's actually going to be paired up with a tabletop RPG game, which is going to be released, I believe, on Kickstarter later this year, which is 2024. So if you like survivalist end of the world type scenarios, and you want to try your hand at that through the platform of a tabletop role playing game, keep an eye out for the developer and the creators, as they're going to release a crowdfunded game in the very near future. So what do we like about this issue? If you kind of like want that tension where you feel like the guy around the corner is going to shoot you or stab you, and they play cat and mouse all throughout the house, trying to clear every room and make sure that everybody from Marv's group survives, even if they wind up paying a pretty painful price in the process. This is it. Plus, there's a little bit of a, how should we say, you have to a little bit of mercy killing at the end of the issue to kind of make sure that the house is clear. And then the end of the issue also lays the groundwork for where the gang has to go next, which is a destination where presumably there are more people and more safety and more facilities to kind of help them survive the end times. But uh, wherever there's safety, also going to be some attraction for predators. So there's a lot of intrigue, or an anticipation, I should say, going into the next issue. What didn't we like about the first issue? The first few pages really kind of give you the laydown of how everything fell apart in the world once the dog flu hit. It's a lot of reading and a lot of exposition. I think I would have preferred that they get some of this exposition going through dialogue between the characters, or as they reminisce about the old times, or find some way to kind of incorporate the exposition in the story, rather than give you 3 or 4 or 5, 6 pages of background images with just a lot of text to read through. It's not bad. I mean, it's paced pretty well, but it sort of like takes a big break from the action, and you really don't pick up from where the previous issue ended into this current issue until about page 13, which is a lot to get through, even though there are covers and everything in there. So it's not all exposition, but there's a lot of it there. So it's slow getting going. Once the action picks up, it's great, but it's a bit of a slog to get through the beginning, even though it's all interesting information. But that's how it is. So final comments. What do we think about the issue? Distemper number 2, if you like that sort of gritty end of the world where kind of very similar feel to The Walking Dead from Image Comics. If you like that feeling where the disaster that killed most of the population of the Earth isn't the real problem, it's the survivors and how terrible they can be towards each other when people are just desperate and scared and they do crazy things. This is a great comic to pick up. Again, you do have to get through a lot of reading in the beginning to get back to the action, but once the action picks up, it's really well done. And so for Distemper number 2 from Blood Moon Comics, we are going to give this one, I would say, an 8 out of 10. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Before you leave, please like, share, comment, subscribe to Comical Opinions. Let us know how we're doing, and hit that notification bell for more reviews and comic book industry analysis every single week.